It's time again for another episode of Healthy Thriving Family After Divorce. Stephanie Dobson is with us. Stephanie, of course, a lawyer, mediator, and online educator with Hank Divorce Law and Mediation offices in Lloydminster and Edmonton. Stephanie, thanks for joining us once again.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Stacey.
Well, this week we're going to talk a little bit more generally about divorce and separation. And I want to talk about when people are going through this process and just kind of getting started and going through it. What are some of the topics that people are going to need to resolve when they are in the stage where they've just started to split up, basically?
Yeah, well, Stacey, usually in our episodes we go into such specific topics that I thought that for today it would be nice just to go into a bit of more of a 30,000-foot level overview of what topics need to be covered. So lots of times when I first meet with families who are separating, they're not really sure what the topics are that they need to resolve. So I thought we could just give them a summary here. So this is of course very brief, but we'll go through them. The first is developing a parenting plan. The second is child support. The third is spousal support. And the fourth is division of property, division of your assets and debts.
Okay, and let's take a deeper dive into that parenting plan, Stephanie. I know we've chatted quite a bit about that before, and it seems like it's a very good thing to have just to keep everybody sane, basically. So tell me a little bit more about the plan.
Yeah, so a parenting plan is a document that sets out how you and the other parent will parent your children. It's a bit of a rule book if you are playing the game of life. The level of detail that a parenting plan requires will vary, but it varies based on often your level of conflict between the two of you. So more conflict equals a more detailed parenting plan. So it contains many topics, but some of the main ones are parenting scheduling, decision making, responsibilities, and a communication plan.
Okay, and next is child support. So let's dig a little deeper into that as well.
So, of course, we've had an entire two-part series on this topic. So, of course, our viewers can go click back to those episodes. But today we're just going to be very, very basic about this. So, child support needs to be paid when parents are separated. And that support is divided into two basic categories. There's the base support and the extras. So, to calculate base support, we use the formulas contained in the child support guidelines based on four things: paying parents' income, the number of children, the province of residence of the paying parent, and the parenting schedule. Now, those extras are called Section 7 expenses. They're Section 7 of the child support guidelines, and there's certain defined categories: childcare expenses, medical and dental expenses, health insurance premiums, certain education expenses, and extracurricular activities. That's a bit of the 30-second version of child support.
Okay, and then moving on to the other type of support, spousal support, Stephanie. Let's go a little bit further into that.
Yeah, this one's a lot more complex, but in essence, it's an amount that's paid from one spouse to the other to help them financially post separation. So there's two questions to ask when looking at spousal support. The first one is eligibility. Some people call it entitlement. Fire comes out of people's ears when we use that word. So we use eligibility based on the legal principles and the family situation. And then the second question is, if the answer to eligibility is yes, then we ask how much for how long. And there are spousal support advisory guidelines, kind of formulaic approaches to how we figure out what spousal support is.
Okay, and last but not least, the division of assets and debts. If you could just expand on that, Stephanie.
So again, just a really complex topic in a 30-second overview. So we use the principle called community property. So I think of it like a big pot that you'd put on a stove. So you put everything that's in the one spouse's name, everything that's in the other spouse's name, everything that's in the kid's name or in joint names, put it all in the pot and divide that pot by two. Now, of course, we require some transparent exchange of information in order to figure out what goes into that pot. And we create a net worth spreadsheet out of all of that information. So we list all of the assets, debts, and then there might be some exemptions, some things that come out of the pot that don't actually get divided. We apply a value to those items. We figure out who's going to keep what, and then we look at the totals at the bottom and figure out if it's equal or unequal and how do we balance those scales a little bit better. So of course, very complex, but there's the real quick overview.
Well, thank you for breaking all that down for us, Stephanie. I really appreciate you speaking with us every week. And just one more time, if people are looking to get in touch with you, even just to set up a consultation and learn a little bit more about this, where is the best place to reach you?
Yeah, I certainly recommend people look at our website first, Henka Divorce, HENKA divorce.ca, to learn a little bit more about what we do. And then you can give our office a call, 780-875-2234.
All right, Stephanie, thank you so much for joining us this week.
Yeah, thanks, Stacy.